So last night, Bernie Sanders had a field day. My God, did he have a lot of great lines in the debate. In fact, we've got it for you. It's video 12. It's just a tiny bit of sampling. Last night during our live coverage, we gave you all 7, 8 fantastic lines. At the end, he got a standing ovation. I haven't seen a debate this clear in a long time. Certainly in this primary season, this was the one debate where there was the most clear winner. Let me give you a sampling of the lines here.
Of my political career, fighting for workers, fighting for the poorest people in this country. Madam Secretary, I will match my record against yours any day of the week. Clearly, the Secretary's words to Wall Street has really intimidated them. And that is why they have given her $15 million in campaign contributions. And I am proud that the gentleman who is head of Goldman Sachs, now he didn't give me $225,000 for speaking fees. He said I was dangerous, and he is right. I am dangerous for Wall Street.
From then on, we started calling Bernie Sanders Heisenberg. Shirts coming soon at shoptyt.com. Okay, so fantastic performance. I mean, it was explosive in here last night. So, of course, last night we start looking around, bunch of neutral headlines, and then the 3 headlines where we could see any kind of bias. It was, of course, all against Bernie Sanders, and we read that to you in our live coverage last night. There was a Washington Post article, of course, as well as others questioning Bernie Sanders. CNN, the people who were covering the debate, oh, you know, Bernie's got some answering to do. How is he going to pay for his plans? What about the Sandinistas and Castro? Those were the headlines. Okay. And like I said, there was also a bunch of neutral ones. So today our production team went in and looked for how this debate got scored. Hey, you know, mixed news. Some people did call for Bernie Sanders. Wow. So New York Times, Huffington Post, Vox largely said Bernie Sanders won the debate. Fantastic. Others disagreed. Now, I'm going to give you a sampling of one website here that had it slightly for Bernie Sanders, and that was 538. Here's what they wrote. When asked to grade each candidate's debate performances on how much they helped or hurt their chances of winning the nomination, Sanders came out slightly ahead of Clinton. He averaged a B+, and she averaged a B. Now, I give you this as a sample of the positive ones, because they're all like, he was a shade better. He was not a shade better. The debate before this, we all thought, everybody on the panel on covering it for TYT thought Hillary Clinton had won. In this case, it was not a shade. It was nearly knockout in how strong this performance was for Bernie Sanders. But okay, hey, they gave it to him. God bless. And then, of course, they can't help themselves, and they write this paragraph later. Sanders better hope that either the polls are off in those states like they were in Michigan, a possibility, referring to the March 15 states, or the public saw tonight differently than we did, also a possibility. I'm glad they acknowledged that because almost all the polling indicates that. Otherwise, his victory in Michigan will simply be a battle won in a war lost. Now, we can't give him credit for Michigan, okay? He's going to lose the war. Now, they're not saying he's going to. They're saying he's likely to. Okay, now to be fair, those guys, they're not looking at online polls. The online polls are the ones that say Bernie Sanders won the debate, but they almost always say Bernie Sanders won the debate. And I get why that's skewed because he's won the internet, right? And they're looking at the polls coming up in states like Florida, Ohio, Illinois, et cetera, right? That's March 15 states. But it is always, no matter what the win is, according to 538 itself, the most dramatic upset victory in American primary history. That's what Bernie Sanders did in Michigan. So today, a friend of mine sends out, he's for Hillary Clinton, he sends out a tweet saying, oh, it's not a big upset, it's not a big deal, it was just the polls were wrong. No, you're missing it. It's not that the polls are wrong. The polls are polling the likely candidates, literally likely voters. Those are the usual suspects, the people who usually vote. And so that's fair. That's what a poll should do. But in this case, it's not just the people who are usually voting that come out to vote. A lot more people do. That's why he's winning when he shouldn't be winning. So all this analysis, in my opinion, is skewed. And then once you can't recognize that, every article ends with, but he's going to lose, but he's going to lose. Now, those are the favorable ones. Wait till you see the unfavorable ones. And that brings us to Fortune magazine. So they asked, who won the Democratic debate? You know what the answer is going to be. Ben Geyer for Fortune writes, Clinton took a few hits, but she made her way through the event relatively unscathed. She was reeling during the debate. You could tell normally she's confident, she's smiling, she's doing her one-liners. We analyze that in every debate. And this time she stopped smiling. She refused to rebut a question about fracking. And it was obvious that she was off her game. Nah, she's smooth. She's got it. No problem. I'll tell you why they see it this way in a second. Fortune continues. So who won? Clinton held her ground. She still seems presidential, and she did a good job of standing up to Sanders when he directly attacked her record. Sanders, meanwhile, continued to position himself as a true progressive in the race, forcing Clinton to defend her positions on health care, student debt, and her ties to Wall Street. So obviously that last part is very correct. He did go on the attack, but they still didn't give him the victory for that. And he landed a lot of body blows and maybe some knockout punches, but not knockout in terms of the whole primary, but in terms of the debate. But they say, no, she looks presidential. And they continue. As with the previous Democratic debate, the race is probably in the same place it was before the debate began. I love writing that. Having once again avoiding anything resembling a debate meltdown, Clinton is still in the best position to win the nomination, but Sanders seems poised to stay in the race through the end of the spring, which is his most attainable goal at this point. It's so condescending. Oh, I guess you'll stay through the spring, and that'll be a good job, and then we'll pat you on the head and move you along, Bernie Sanders. I mean, of course you're not presidential. See, that's the thing. They've got Washington goggles on. So they look at Hillary Clinton and they think, oh, what a great candidate. She looks so presidential to me and everyone else in Washington. They look at Bernie Sanders and they go, this liberal, he's not going to win. So it doesn't matter what he says. They already made up their mind. Whereas the rest of the country looks at him and goes, wow, that guy would give us free education so we'd have opportunity. Wait a minute, that guy's right. Every other developed country in the world has universal health care, so we don't, have all the problems that we have now. Wait, he's right. We spend all this money on healthcare. I know how much I spend on healthcare, and we're ranked number 37 in the world. We don't get the results that we need for that kind of money. They see it as human beings who have these issues that this guy's ready to address. These pundits see it as people living in Washington who are looking for people who look presidential in their eyes. So that brings us to the Washington Post. They had winners and losers. You want to guess the first winner they had? Hillary Clinton, of course. Now, they acknowledged this debate was a minefield for her, but Clinton avoided disaster and came out as the better debater yet again. I know, you declare the winner every time. And despite a couple of missteps, and she still doesn't have a good answer on her Wall Street speeches, she had some very strong moments that will likely endure more than anything else. One guy said, I am dangerous to Wall Street. Even if you don't like him, that's a badass line. That's one of the most badass lines I've ever seen in a debate. If you don't like him, you should quote him on that. Be like, look, the guy says he's dangerous, right? That's an enduring moment. Her saying, well, I don't agree with Trump's wall, mine would be more of a fence. It's not an enduring moment. Okay. And I like how they're like, why doesn't she still have an answer for all of her Wall Street speeches? Because there is no good answer. She took their money, put it in her pocket to the tune of millions of dollars. She got paid $11 million. We keep talking about $225,000 per speech, and she had 3 of those at Goldman Sachs. That's just Goldman Sachs. Overall, she got $11 million in speeches alone after she left as Secretary of State. There's no good answer for that. She took their money and she said to them, oh, it's good, I'm on your side, don't worry. That's why she can't release the transcripts, because in the speeches, she intimated that she was on their side and going to look out for their interests. And that's why they paid her $11 million. So they're just looking for just come up with a clever political answer to trick the American people like we always do. And then we'll declare you the winner yet again, right? So they continue. When asked about her poor honesty ratings and her not-so-great public image, she had this to say, I am not a natural politician, in case you haven't noticed, like my husband or President Obama. She added, this is not easy for me. It was self-aware. They declare now, the Washington Post does. It was self-aware, and it turned a question about her not being honest into an answer in which she was uniquely candid. I mean, you got to have some thick Washington goggles on to get that answer, which is clearly a talking point that they discussed before the debate and decided, hey, I'm getting killed in the polls on trustworthiness. Have a human moment where you say, oh, I got to be honest with you. It hurts a little bit because I'm just not a natural politician. You don't think they planned that out? If you think that they didn't plan that out, you don't know anything about politics. You ought to retire right now and go into something else. Go get another job. So for them, the Washington Post, Aaron Blake to say, oh, that was a uniquely candid moment. Really? Really? You think that was candid? Oh my God, that is embarrassing. Okay, now who are the losers? I love this one. Sanders' chances at the nomination. Say it with me. Of course, of course. He has no chance. He has no chance. She's such a good politician. That's why people don't like her. When are you going to wake up to that? All right. And finally, to be fair to the Washington Post, they did think that Bernie Sanders did have one winning fact in the debate. They declare winner, Bernie Sanders' suit. The man wore a brown suit. Yeah, that was a winning choice. I do declare. But he has no chance. He has no chance. The establishment must be protected. We're part of the establishment. Hillary Clinton's part of this establishment. And she seems very presidential. She does to you guys. It's not what it looked like in Michigan.